Hello everyone and welcome to a very nice game from yesterday's Cake DeFi Christmas Arena that was played on Lichess in bullet time format. Unfortunately, we did not get to finish the event. We only got to around 50 minutes of the event and then the servers crashed and we had to, postpone the tournament. There's nothing, that we could have done as they had to do some, diagnostics, and they said it will take at least 2 days to see what actually happened and to prevent such a thing happening in the future. Probably it had something to do with there being 19,000 people in the tournament, but could be anything else. So we'll see what they say, and depending on what they find in their troubleshooting, we will decide what to do with the tournament. It's definitely postponed until January because now we don't have simply the time to set it up, as we have the World Rapid and Blitz Championship coming up from December 25th to December 30th, and we're just gonna have to postpone it until January. And depending on what they find, we'll either continue the tournament in the exact same moment where it finished, in the exact same time with the exact same points for everyone, and we'll try to coordinate it with most of the players to see if at least those in the top maybe 20 can join the tournament. As of course we can't coordinate with everyone that was in, but we'll try to make it happen like that. Or if there is evidence that the tournament wasn't functioning properly for the first 50 minutes of its duration, then we're gonna have to restart the tournament and start it from scratch. So there are some other options, of course, but those are the main two that we are considering. So we'll see what happens. It all depends what they find. So this is one of the games I wanted to show you guys, as Hikaru was leading the tournament when the service crashed. He's playing against Daniil Dubov, SVODMEVKO on Lichess, and it's a really enjoyable game, a very, very precise game for a bullet. So hope you guys enjoy it. And a lot of you guys were saying in the live chat that okay, maybe I should just have made it a titled arena, maybe not allow everyone to join, but that kind of goes against of what I was trying to do. I was trying to, it's a Christmas arena. I was trying to give everyone an opportunity to play against some of the big names, even if just for the first few minutes of the tournament, because if you lose games and they win games, of course they will be paired with the winners, but even that I thought was a very nice opportunity for you guys to maybe face, I don't know, Nakamura or Dubov here, or even Magnus or Alireza, but I don't know if it will be possible. If they say it's okay, and this was now definitely a fine stress test, so maybe we'll conduct it in the same way, but if not, we're gonna have to limit it with some sort of an additional criteria, maybe rating wise, maybe via the we'll get into that depending on what they find, and then we're going to discuss it. So this is just a small update. That being said, let's check out the game. This is I think the last game Hikaru played before the server crashed, or maybe he had another one in, but I don't know if that one was finished due to the server issues. So let's just check it out. Hikaru has the white pieces and he opens with e4. Dubov replies with c5. He goes for the Sicilian defense, and Hikaru goes knight to c3, opting for the closed Sicilian. We have knight to c6 and now f4, going for the Grand Prix attack. E6 by Dubov, and now knight to f3. And Dubov strikes in the center with d5 and the bishop to b5. So this is all very standard stuff of the Grand Prix, and of course both of them know this. And here usually black will go knight to e7 or knight to f6. I think knight to e7 is considered the main move, but here Dubov plays a very, very rare move, and that is bishop to d7. It's not that rare, but it is giving up a pawn, and I think only one person played it up until this point, but he wants to get some rapid development in. And Hikaru happily accepts the pawn. We have e captures, and knight captures on d5. Dubov develops the bishop. We have bishop to d6, and Hikaru just castles. We have knight g to e7, attacking the knight on d5. Hikaru trades, and Dubov captures back with the bishop. There is one game in the database where knight captures was played, but here we have bishop captures on e7, and it's now, as of move 9, that we have a completely new game. So Hikaru wants to open up things, as Dubov's king is still in the center of the board, and he starts with d4. We have c captures on d4, but now Hikaru doesn't capture back. He just goes rook to e1. The king is still on e8, so he wants to get some development in. We have castles by Dubov, and now a3. taking away the b4 square from black's pieces, also preparing this pawn to be pushed to b4, bishop to f6, and now bishop back to d3. So, pretty equal position now. Hikaru gave back the pawn, and, well, let's see what happens. We have rook to c8, Dubov continues development, and the bishop to d2 now. This is how Hikaru will develop the bishop. Rook to e8, and now, only now b4. So bishop to e6, and now comes queen to e2. Not afraid of this rook on e8 because there simply aren't any good discoveries for the bishop. So bishop d5 is played, but Hikaru just moves it. Queen to f2, putting some pressure on on d4, but you are of course not hoping to capture that just yet. And here we have rook captures on e1. An interesting idea for Dubov here is rook to e3, but it's one that you would have to prepare, and for a bullet game, of course, that's not very, it's easier said than done. Even though this is a 2+0 bullet, I'm not sure if they berserked this game, so you do have a little bit of an additional time to think. Of course, the rook could not be captured, because if you capture, then this pawn is a monster, and if you recapture, then bishop d4 will just be very scary. For example, rook captures on e3, also bishop captures on a1, so there's many tricks in the position. So rook captures on e1 was played. We have rook captures on e1, and now a6 by Dubov, and now knight to g5. So both players still have the bishop pair, and of course Hikaru is hoping that he can win the bishop pair, well, eliminate one of Dubov's bishops. So here h6, kicking back the knight, knight to e4, now attacking the f6 bishop, and here Dubov could capture on e4, and it's a perfectly fine move, but he wants to keep the bishops in the game. He plays bishop to h4, and now knight back to g3 by Hikaru. We have queen to f6, and now comes queen to e2. Here, this is I would say, a classic Hikaru position, as he plays a lot of puzzle rush. And if you had this position and you had to solve it in a puzzle rush, I think he would play queen to e2 instantly, as it sets up a trap for Dubov, and you have to see it, otherwise you're just dead lost. But Dubov missed it. Dubov played g6. Of course, you want to make this bishop a little bit less powerful, but this comes with a big problem. So feel free to pause the video here and win the game for Hikaru while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting that, well, the rook is undefended, and also, well, the other thing. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is, of course, queen to g4. Now, what's the idea here? Well, of course, you are attacking the rook on c8, but more importantly, you are aligning the queen with the king, and that prepares knight to h5. And that's the whole point. We want to take away the queen, well, this diagonal from the queen, and the queen will not be able to defend the bishop. So what can you play here? Well, Dubov played rook to d8, but this is, well, just terrible, as now comes knight to h5, and it was in this position on move 24 that Daniil Dubov resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So the queen is attacked. Once you move the queen, the bishop will fall. Yes, you can capture back the knight, but black's position will be completely shattered. But just to give you an idea of how hopeless black's position is, let's say queen d6, we're going to play queen captures on h4, g captures on h5, you win back your piece, but now f5, and black has no moves. It's such a bad position for black that it's hard to imagine that it can even arise from such a position. But you can see how quickly Hikaru spotted it. He prepared it with queen e2, and then just completely shattered the position with queen to g4. The problem now is you can't put a rook on the e file, so you really don't have any moves with the rook. You can't play knight e7, that's covered by the rook. If you play knight to e5, we can just capture it, because then the queen no longer guards the rook, so obviously that's not working. So what can you play? The bishop has no useful moves, you can just play some silly moves like f6, we're going to capture on h6, then on h5, and the position completely falls apart. So I imagine Dubov was, he spent a few seconds looking at the position, he was disgusted by it, completely and utterly, and then he resigned the game. So yeah, very nice victory for Hikaru. Hope you guys enjoyed this game, and that you guys enjoyed watching the the live coverage on any channel, as I see a whole lot of people were streaming it, and some of them were covering only Carlsen's games. I think Jerry from Chess Network only followed Magnus. Some of them followed the players they like. I decided to follow someone from the top 10, depending on what the position on the board was, and maybe if it was the beginning of the game, if it was an interesting position. But yeah, it's impossible to cover all of them, and you're just too spoiled for choice. But yeah, this was a very good experience, and we will definitely try to prevent such a thing from happening in the next one, either by Lichess sorting it out and seeing what went wrong, because it shouldn't be a problem for them. So I'm sure something that shouldn't have happened has happened, or we will have to limit the number of players by, well, any sort of criteria that will allow them to proceed with the tournament. So I will keep you guys informed, no worries there, and well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. As usual, you guys can check two of my previous videos here. I would like to thank Dejub, Matteo Marchescini, Andra Lazario, Eric Mumford, and Timothy Rozon for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I already said you can check them out here as usual. Yeah, I will see you guys very soon, checking up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. We'll see. And yeah, the tournament continues in January. In a few days, we're starting with the World Blitz and Rapid Championship. Thank you all, and I will see you soon. Have a great day.